This video will cover how to find the USB module inside the chassis of a Q Mini and how to change one out if you need to do so. I've already taken the screws off here, but on the Q Mini to access the inside is quite simple. You just have to take off the visible screws on the deck and then it'll be free to set aside. Once you're inside, it's going to look like a pretty big cluster of wires here, but you're just looking for one that has a black and a red that comes down from the side of the battery. So if I can get the lighting right here, we'll see that there's a few wires down here. And you can work from that area and just follow the wires until you come across a black and white, which I have right here. But if we were to follow it back as best as I can and keep this in focus with one hand, this wire comes down here. Here's the other side. And then it comes up. So it might be under the battery ever so slightly, but it should be a part of this cluster on the side here of the scooter. And if you want to change it, the Q Mini is pretty easy to do. All you're going to do is loosen the module here, cut the zip ties on the mesh wire organizers. Disregard this, I'm working on this one. And then take off the mesh just temporarily and it'll expose all of the wires running down the tube. What I would do when you start doing this, because it just makes life a little bit easier to do the wiring, is you're going to want to separate the battery connector. That's the first step before doing any electrical work. And then make sure you're not plugged in and charging. And then if we're going to change out the entire module anyway, I would cut this wire right here and then take some electrical tape and connect the existing wire to the new wire. And after you've taken off the mesh and taken all the zip ties out, it makes it really easy to just help yourself feed the wiring through the tube and through here to replace it. That said, in this particular case, if you're hearing a buzzing noise from the USB module and doesn't have a lot of battery drain, I think it would be worth it, the time, just to disconnect this location here and ride it around. It's so simple to open up the deck, pop this connection off, and put the deck back down. What I want to do is just find out for sure that the problem is isolated to the USB module before you spend a lot of time with wiring. It should be, but it's probably like an 80-20 likelihood that that's what's going on. So it might just be valuable to spend that few minutes. It's better to get a chance to ride it again and see if that noise goes away. So I think that's a good step. It may also, if you can hear the noise actively at all times, just disconnecting here before you start and hearing if the sound goes away will also tell us quite a bit. But I think that's pretty good information to get you going and get this resolved, and we'll go from there.